3 seconds left on the clock, down by 2, the championship on the line. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. Not for the reasons you might think, not for the roar of the crowd, not for the pressure of the moment, but for the silence in my mind when I finally understood what it meant to face your greatest opponent. I had spent countless hours practicing that exact shot. The ball leaving my fingertips at the perfect angle, the rotation, the follow through, everything executed with precision. That wasn't what made the difference. What made the difference was what happened in the split second before the ball left my hands. For the first time, I wasn't thinking about making a shot. I wasn't thinking about missing it either. I was completely present, completely empty of doubt. That's when I discovered something that would change everything. Your greatest enemy isn't the defender in front of you. It isn't the clock running down. It isn't even failure itself. Your greatest enemy is the voice inside your head that whispers, "What if?" Let me take you back to where this understanding began. Not in the bright lights of the NBA Finals, but in the dim light of an empty gym in Lower Merion High School. I was 13 years old, shooting baskets alone at 4:30 in the morning. Most people thought I was crazy. Maybe I was. But I wasn't there to prove anything to anyone else. I was there because of something that happened the day before. During practice, I had missed a crucial shot in a scrimmage. Not just missed it, airball. The kind of miss that makes everyone look away in secondhand embarrassment. But it wasn't the miss that bothered me, it was the hesitation before the shot. That tiny moment of doubt that made me adjust my form at the last second. That night I couldn't sleep. The doubt kept replaying in my mind, not just about that shot, but about everything. Was I good enough? Could I ever be good enough? Would I ever make it to the NBA? These questions weren't just about basketball. They were about something deeper. So there I was in that empty gym, the sound of my dribble echoing off the walls. I started shooting. One shot after another, but something was different this time. Instead of trying to make every shot perfect, I started paying attention to what happened in my mind before each shot. I noticed something. The shots I missed weren't just about bad form or tired muscles. They were about the thoughts that crept in right before release. The doubt didn't announce itself with a megaphone. It whispered, it suggested, it created just enough hesitation to throw everything off. That morning, I made a decision that would define my entire career. I decided to study my doubt like an opponent, to understand its moves, its patterns, its favorite moments to strike. What I discovered changed everything I thought I knew about mental toughness. Doubt isn't your weakness, it's your compass. It points directly to where you need to grow. When doubt whispers, you can't make that shot, it's really showing you exactly what you need to practice until you can. When it says you're not ready, it's highlighting exactly what you need to prepare for. But here's what most people get wrong about doubt. They try to eliminate it. They try to build walls of false confidence to keep it out. I tried that too. It doesn't work. Because doubt isn't the enemy you need to defeat. It's the opponent you need to understand. Think about a defender on the court. The best way to beat them isn't to pretend they don't exist. It's to study their moves so well that you can anticipate them. To know their tendencies so deeply that you can use their own momentum against them. Doubt works the same way. I remember the turning point. It was during another early morning session. I was practicing a particularly difficult fadeaway jumper. Missing more than I was making, the doubt was there as always. But this time, instead of fighting it, I listened to it. Your balance is off, it whispered. And for once, I didn't try to silence that voice. I paid attention. My balance was off, just slightly, but enough to affect the shot. The doubt wasn't lying to me, it was teaching me. That's when everything changed. Instead of seeing doubt as my enemy, I started seeing it as my most demanding coach. The one who noticed every flaw, every weakness, every moment of hesitation. Not to defeat me, but to show me exactly what I needed to work on. The next few hours in that gym weren't just about shooting anymore. They were about developing a relationship with my doubt, understanding its language, learning to distinguish between the doubt that points to real weaknesses and the doubt that's just noise. I started keeping a journal, not of my makes and misses, but of my doubts. Every time that voice spoke up, I wrote it down. What was it saying? When did it appear? What triggered it? The patterns I discovered were fascinating. The doubt was strongest not when I was failing, but when I was on the verge of breaking through to a new level. It wasn't random, it was systematic. It showed up most intensely right before major breakthroughs. This understanding transformed my training. Instead of mindless repetition, I started using doubt as my guide. When it whispered, "Your left hand is weak," I doubled down on left-handed drill. When it said, "You can't maintain this intensity for 48 minutes, I extended my conditioning work. But the real test wasn't in the gym. It was in those crucial moments on the court. Down by 2, seconds left on the clock, championship on the line. That's when most players get consumed by doubt. Not because they're weak, but because they're fighting their own battle. They're trying to be fearless when they should be learning to dance with their fear. They're trying to silence their doubt when they should be listening to what it's telling them. They're trying to be perfect when they should be focused on being present. Remember that shot I told you about at the beginning? The one where time seemed to stop? In that moment, the doubt was still there, but it wasn't my enemy anymore. It was my ally. Every hour I had spent studying it, understanding it, working with it instead of against it, had led to this moment. The doubt whispered, as it always did. But now I knew its language. I knew that its presence wasn't a warning of failure, but a signal that I was exactly where I needed to be. On the edge of my comfort zone, on the verge of something great. That's the secret most people never understand about doubt. It's not a wall, it's a door. And the key to that door isn't confidence, it's understanding. When you truly understand your doubt, you don't need to eliminate it, you need to use it. This isn't just about basketball, it's about life. Every time you face a challenge, every time you step into unknown territory, doubt will be there, waiting, watching, whispering. The question isn't whether you can silence it. The question is, are you ready to listen to what it's really trying to tell you? In my early days with the Lakers, I discovered something that most people get wrong about success. They think the hard part is the physical work, the training, the drills, the endless repetition. But that's not what separates the great from the legendary. I remember sitting in the locker room before my first NBA game, 18 years old, surrounded by giants of the game. The doubt was deafening. Not just about my ability to play at this level, but about my right to even be there. Every insecurity I had ever felt came rushing back at once. That's when I learned the second truth about doubt. It doesn't just whisper about your abilities. It questions your identity, your worth, your very right to pursue greatness. And this is where most people make their fatal mistake. They try to prove the doubt wrong. Let me tell you what happened in that locker room. Instead of fighting the doubt, I did something that changed everything. I took out my journal and wrote down every single doubt I was feeling, every fear, every insecurity. Not to overcome them, but to understand them. You're too young. You're not ready. You're going to embarrass yourself. They're all going to see you don't belong here. Looking at these doubts on paper, I realized something profound. These weren't just random fears. They were a blueprint. Each doubt was pointing directly to something I needed to address. Not just in my game, but in my mind. When the doubt said, "You're too young," it wasn't trying to stop me. It was showing me where I needed to grow up fastest. When it whispered, "You're not ready," it wasn't predicting failure. It was highlighting exactly what I needed to prepare for. This understanding transformed my entire approach to the game. Instead of practicing to prove my doubts wrong, I started practicing to address what they were showing me. Every doubt became a direction. Every fear became a focus point. But here's where it gets interesting. The more I worked with my doubt instead of against it, the more sophisticated it became. It stopped being about the obvious thing. The doubts evolved, became more nuanced, more specific, and so did my game. I remember one particular practice session. I had been working on my fadeaway jumper for hours, making shot after shot. The obvious doubts were quiet, but then a new whisper emerged. Sure, you can make it when you're fresh, but what about in the fourth quarter, after playing 40 minutes? when your legs are heavy and your breath is short. This wasn't the same old doubt trying to stop me. This was doubt showing me my next level. It wasn't saying I couldn't do it. It was asking if I could do it under any circumstance, at any moment, regardless of fatigue or pressure. So I changed my training, started practicing my fadeaway at the end of exhausting workouts when my muscles were screaming and my lungs were burning, because that's what the doubt was really telling me I needed to master. This is what I mean when I say doubt is your greatest teacher. It's not just about overcoming fear. It's about listening to what that fear is trying to teach you. Every doubt is a door. Behind it lies your next level of mastery. Think about the last time doubt held you back. Really think about it. What exactly was it whispering? Was it saying you can't do this? Or was it actually pointing out specific areas where you needed to grow? Most people hear doubt and stop. The great ones hear doubt and ask, what are you trying to show me? This isn't positive thinking. This isn't about turning doubt into confidence. It's about turning doubt into intelligence, into strategy. I remember watching game tape late one night, studying my mistakes. The doubt was there, as always. But now I had learned to use it as a tool. Instead of letting it paralyze me, I let it guide my attention. Every time I felt that twinge of insecurity while watching a play, I knew that's where I needed to focus. The doubt would whisper, your left-hand dribble is weak under pressure. My response wasn't to deny it. It was to ask, how can I make it stronger? The doubt would say, you're predictable in the post. I would ask, what new moves do I need to develop? This is the transformation that changes everything. When you stop seeing doubt as the enemy and start seeing it as intelligence, as information, as your most honest coach. But let me warn you about something. This journey isn't comfortable. Working with your doubt instead of against it means facing uncomfortable truths. It means acknowledging weaknesses. It means being honest with yourself in a way that most people never are. There were nights when my doubt would keep me up, pointing out every flaw in my game, every weakness, every limitation. But instead of letting these thoughts torture me, I would get up, go to the gym, and work specifically on what the doubt was highlighting. This is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who only dream about it. Not the absence of doubt, but the relationship with it. The ability to use it as fuel, as guidance, as a map to your next level. Think about a masterpiece painting. Before the artist adds light, they must first understand shadow. Before they create beauty, they must first see what's missing. Your doubt is like that shadow. It's not your enemy. It's the contrast that makes your greatness visible. When you understand this, everything changes. Your training changes. Your mindset changes. Your relationship with challenge changes. Because you're no longer trying to silence the doubt. You're learning its language, using its intelligence, dancing with it instead of fighting it. This is the mastery that most never reach, not because they're not capable, but because they're fighting the wrong battle. They're trying to be fearless when they should be learning to use their fear. They're trying to be perfect when they should be focusing on being present with their imperfections. Let me share something I've never told anyone before, something that happened during my final season, a moment when everything I had learned about doubt came full circle. My body was breaking down. Years of pushing beyond limits had taken their toll. The doubt wasn't whispering anymore, it was screaming. But this time it wasn't just about basketball. It was about legacy, about meaning, about what all these years of battling doubt have really been for. I was in the gym late at night after everyone had gone home, just like that 13-year-old kid in Lower Merion. But this time, I wasn't running from my doubt. I was having a conversation with it. The doubt asked, what if this is it? What if you can't finish strong? And for the first time, I smiled at these questions, because after all these years, I finally understood the secret. The doubt wasn't trying to end my journey, it was trying to ensure my journey had meaning. You see, doubt isn't just about basketball or business or whatever arena you're fighting in. Doubt is about truth, your truth. When you learn to listen to it properly, it stops being about what you can't do and starts being about what you must do. Think about a master sculptor working with marble. Before they make a single cut, they study the stone. They look for its faults, its weak points, its imperfections, not to be discouraged by them, but to understand how to work with them, to know where to cut, where to be gentle, where to be bold. Your doubt is like that sculptor's eye. It's not judging you, it's studying you, learning you, showing you exactly where you need to focus to bring out your masterpiece. But here's the part that took me 20 years to understand. The masterpiece isn't the performance. It's not the championships. It's not even the legacy. The masterpiece is the relationship you develop with yourself through understanding your doubt. I remember sitting in that gym, my body aching, surrounded by the ghosts of all my past doubts. Every "you can't" that turned into "I did." Every "you're not ready" that became "watch me." Every whisper of inadequacy that transformed into a roar of triumph. And I realized something profound. All those years I thought I was battling doubt to become the greatest basketball player I could be. But that wasn't it at all. I was learning the ultimate language, the language of self-truth. When doubt speaks to you, it's not trying to stop you. It's trying to start a conversation that most people run from their entire lives. A conversation about who you really are and what you're really capable of. Think about every great achievement in human history, every breakthrough, every revolution, every moment of transcendence. Behind each one was a chorus of doubts. It's impossible. It can't be done. You'll fail. These weren't obstacles to greatness. They were the roadmap to it. What if Thomas Edison had run from his doubt instead of using it to identify 10,000 ways that didn't work? What if Martin Luther King Jr. had let doubt silence his dream instead of letting it fuel his determination? What if every great innovator, leader, and changemaker had seen doubt as their enemy instead of their guide? This is what I want you to understand. Right now, in your life, doubt is speaking to you. It's pointing out your weak spots, your uncertainties, your fears. Most people hear this and retreat. They choose comfort over growth, safety over possibility, but you're different. I can feel it. You're ready to understand what doubt really is. It's not your enemy trying to stop you. It's your potential trying to guide you. Your greatness trying to emerge. Your truth trying to be heard. When doubt whispers, "You're not ready," it's really saying, "Here's what you need to prepare for." When it says you might fail, it's really saying, "This matters enough to be afraid of." When it tells you this is impossible, it's really asking, how badly do you want to be the one who proves that wrong? In my final season, every game was a conversation with doubt. Every shot, every defensive play, every moment on the court. But now, after all these years, the conversation was different. It wasn't about proving anything anymore. It was about completing the circle. That 13-year-old kid in the empty gym, fighting his doubt alone in the dark, had become a man who understood that the fight was never the point. The point was the dialogue, the relationship, the dance. And this is my gift to you. Not just a story about basketball, not just a lesson about perseverance, but a truth about what doubt really is and what it's really trying to tell you. Your doubt is not your enemy. It's your edge. It's not trying to stop you. It's trying to prepare you. It's not pointing out why you can't. It's showing you how you must. But here's the final truth, the one that matters most. This journey with doubt never ends. And that's the beauty of it, because each new level of achievement brings new doubts. Each new height reveals new horizons. Each new mastery opens doors to new challenges. As I walked off the court for the last time, the doubt was still there, asking new questions, pointing to new horizons, starting new conversations. And I smiled because I finally understood this was never about silencing the doubt. It was about learning to hear the wisdom in it. So now I ask you, what is your doubt trying to tell you? What conversation are you running from? What truth is waiting to be heard? Remember, the greatest enemy isn't your doubt. The greatest enemy is misunderstanding what your doubt is trying to teach you. Listen to it, learn from it, let it guide you to your next level of greatness. Because in the end, the most powerful person you can become isn't the one who never doubts. It's the one who turns doubt into dialogue, fear into focus, and uncertainty into understanding. This is your moment. Your doubt is speaking. The only question is, are you ready to listen to what it's really trying to tell you?